Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort.
Kogan. Drip.
Snort, snort.
I got the drip. Go. So last night was Friday night, and you know what that means. On Friday nights, we have Friday night fights here on DSP Gaming, and it was time for more Street Fighter 6, and this time around, I wanted to play with Honda, okay? My final character, out of the 5 characters that I had used the most in Street Fighter 6, last year when it came out, and also a character that I have in Master Ranking. So last night, I played for about 2 to 2.5 hours with Honda, and as you know, since I've returned to Street Fighter 6 in the last week, I'm only playing casual play so far, because I feel that's the best way to approach it. I don't want to jump right into try-hard mode ranked play when I'm rusty and don't even remember strategies and have, poor execution. I basically wanted to give a chance to each character to get back into well-oiled form, get the rust out of the joints. And so that's what I've been doing. But sadly, some of the shortcomings of casual play matches, as opposed to the ranked matches, is that trolls can try to hone in on my matches and try to join me. And basically, I guess the way it works on PlayStation Network is you could just keep changing your name on PlayStation Network, and you could have the same Capcom ID account. So technically, you're the same account playing, but you could change your name like every game. So I didn't even know this, but there were people who have been like stream sniping me in Street Fighter 6 for months and months, and just keep changing their name, so I don't know it's the same person, okay? And it's funny because people are like, yeah, half the time when they try to stream snipe you, you kick their asses, so they end up looking like idiots. And I'm like, no, I don't know that. I literally don't know who's stream sniping me. I don't care. I just play, right? But, excuse me, in the last week, some of these people started using very offensive names and things that obviously I can't have on my streams. So basically, I'm like, I gotta stop this. How do you stop it? So first, I was trying to click, if you just quit out of the match, right, then you don't have to face them anymore. The problem is, if you quit out of a match, all right, it doesn't register as a completed match, and therefore you're not able to ban the account. So, for example, last week, there was a Cammy who I fought like 4 times in a row, each one with a different name. And then I realized, I think this might be the same person. So I went in, blocked one name. I said, block that person. I don't want to play him again. They're a troll. And it blocked all 4 accounts. So I never have to fight that person ever again. Their Capcom ID is blocked. I was like, ah. But then I go to play another match against someone else, and it's a really offensive name. So I just quit out of the match. I closed the game. I go back in, and now it won't let me block that person because the match didn't complete, so it never registered. So basically, in the last week or so, I've been trying to figure out how this is going to work for casual play. Now, in reality, it might not always be an issue because I play ranked a lot too. I just haven't played ranked in the last week because, like I said, I'm trying to get the rust off before I try to go somewhere where my points could be, my precious ranked points, like it really matters so much. But since they'll be at stake, and since it could basically push me into an awful player pool by losing a ton of points, I don't just want to, artificially right out of the gates lose all my points and be stuck in the dredges of Street Fighter 6 forever because I'm rusty. Okay, so, basically, like, over the last week, I probably quit out of maybe 2 or 3 matches as these trolls kept using offensive names, and then I would eventually realize that's stupid, don't do that anymore, just block the account after a match, but I didn't realize that until last night. So, last night, no kidding, like, right first or second match, I think it was the second match, it was a troll, and I'm like, alright, so I quit out. And that's when I realized, crap, I can't block him. I was like, all right, moving forward, I just won't rage quit a match anymore. It's not really rage quitting. I'm not raging. I'm quitting because it's an offensive name. I'm just not going to do that anymore. I'm just going to wait for the match to end, and I just block the person, and we move on. So I go to play again. So this is only like after I did one legit match, I think, with Honda, and then we had the one troll, and that was it. So then I go in, and I'm trying to matchmake, and nothing's working. It's just sitting there endlessly searching and finding nobody. And I was like, huh? What the hell's going on? So eventually, it finds a match. It took ages. And it has a hand with a big yellow card in it on the screen. And I said, I have, been playing this since launch 10 months ago. I probably have 10,000 matches under my belt. I have no idea what that means. And people are like, this is Capcom's flagging system. So the way it works is, if you are found to have been someone who pulled from multiple matches in a set period of time, Capcom flags your account and gives you a yellow card. What the yellow card means is now, for a temporary period of time, I think it's 3 matches, you can only matchmake with other people who have been flagged as basically quitters or pullers. And I was like, huh? I don't think about this. Number one, the only reason that I quit out of any of those matches is because they were trolls. There were people who were harassing me or bullying me or had a really offensive name. It's not like I don't want to play people. Of course I do. I'm not losing a match and getting upset and saying, well, fuck this, and then quitting because of the quality of the match or to be a poor sport. These are people who are actively stalking and harassing me on the internet, and I don't want that to permeate my content, so I choose to terminate that. Terminate the bullying avenue, right? Now, certainly, I'm not saying that Capcom is responsible for online bullying, but there should be some method of discernment between the reasoning why someone may be quitting out of a match. For example, what if your internet's messed up one day and you didn't know that, and you go to play, and right in the middle of a match, your internet goes out, right? And then maybe later on, 2 days later, the same thing happens, and then maybe 1 day later, it's like, damn it, my internet has issues, I need to get it fixed. Oh, now, by the way, now you're screwed, and you can't find anyone to play online. But I didn't actively do anything wrong, you know? I think what it is, it's an arbitrary system that Capcom put in there because it's basically they want something in there to say we're trying, but they didn't actually want to put any effort into it. So it's a very lazy system. It's very arbitrary. If you quit like 3 or 4 times in a week, then you get flagged, play 3 matches, get unflagged. No actual looking at the situation, no actual consideration of what's really going on. It's just a blanket policy so there's a policy in place. And you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of YouTube. Because YouTube has exactly the same kinds of policies. Okay? For example, on YouTube, if someone issues a copyright claim against your content, all right, YouTube is supposed to verify that it's legit, but a lot of the times they don't. They claim they do, but a lot of the times they don't. Or they have a very inept person reviewing the situation, and they grant the claim when it's blatantly false. Okay? Then it's up to you, the content creator or uploader or YouTuber, to fix that issue on the back end. And you might say, well, I don't understand. Why does YouTube just blanket do that? Because all they want to do is protect themselves legally. You have to understand. They don't want to be involved in a copyright dispute. So they say, well, hands off, we'll just grant everything. And it's the same thing here. Capcom doesn't want to get into the semantics of why someone might be dropping from a match, but they don't want people rampantly doing it, so they have this blanket arbitrary system. It's very stupid. Number one, it makes no sense because there's no discernment between ranked and casual. In ranked play, where points are on the line, and if you cheat, you can potentially retain your points and artificially inflate your account, as opposed to if you just play legit, you could lose points and not be as high ranked. Then it's a concern. In fact, we were just recently talking about this in Tekken 8, that until recently, like 2 weeks ago, people were infamously pulling the plug on ranked play and keeping all their ranking points for losses. So people were at the top of the leaderboards that actually weren't good. They were just cheaters, right? So they finally, Bandai Namco, instituted a system to detect it, and they banned the biggest offenders. And LTG was actually one of them, which is pretty funny. And so everyone had to start from scratch and try to build their way up from the bottom again. So I get it on ranked play. That totally makes sense. In casual play, there is literally nothing at stake. 0. If you quit, nothing changes. It doesn't matter. The games are literally pointless. They're just for practice. That's hence the name casual play. This is the equivalent of you're in an arcade and you're playing someone in an arcade cabinet and you get a phone call, you got to walk away. So you just quit the game and let the guy beat you up and the next guy steps up to play. It's not a big deal, right? It doesn't even make sense. Right? It's like, huh? Why are you going to penalize me because I had to do something else? It wasn't in the middle of a tournament where you destroyed the integrity of the competitive play of the tournament. So this system, in my opinion, should apply to ranked and not to casual. I don't even see the point of it applying to casual play. That's number one. Number two, this system should look at big picture, because right now it's such a simplistic system. If it happens a certain amount of times in a week, you get penalized. Once you play 3 matches, the penalty removes. All right? That's dumb. That's really dumb. Why? Because I'm someone who has played this game probably 10,000 matches. Correct? 10,000. And in that regard, I've pulled, 4 times in the last week, and it was all for trolls harassing me. It wasn't because I was being a poor sport. These were all trolls doing fucked up things. Right? So, in this case, 10,000 matches played, 4 dropped, penalized the player. Huh? You have to understand that in life there's outliers, right? In life, you have to give something the benefit of the doubt. If something has happened 4 times in 10,000, it's not a common occurrence, and no one should be punished because it was some kind of an outlier situation. It should look at that. It shouldn't just be arbitrarily, dropped your match 4 times in a week, you're banned, or you're penalized. It should be, wow, okay, yes, it happened a few times, but dude, big picture, you got a ridiculous amount of matches that are completed. You should have to hit a certain percent. You should have to hit a certain percent, and then you get the penalty, in my opinion. So these are just all suggestions. Number 1, it shouldn't apply to casual matches, only ranked. Number 2, it should be a certain percent rating. It shouldn't be just arbitrary, certain amount in a certain time. Because again, you get people who get smacked with this who didn't do anything wrong. Maybe their internet's messed up or whatever, and they didn't even know. This is really dumb, in my opinion. Anyway, the good news is it wasn't a huge deal. We had to play like 3 matches. It took like 45 minutes. What I had to do, I had to open up my search to worldwide. I had to open up my connections to all connections. And I had to basically make it cross-play, ranked and casual. And then I got 3 matches. It still took a while. But we got 3 matches. They were laggy as shit, but it didn't matter. I was like, just play them. As long as they're completed, they count. And once the 3 matches were complete, now I was out of that system and I was back to getting full, matches right away again. So it's a stupid system. I understand why Capcom has it in place. At the same time, man, that's poorly implemented. That is lazy man's game dev right there. Like, there's no reason for it to be that simple. It definitely could have some more effort put into it, and I hope that they will improve it in the future, especially if they want online play to be considered serious, which in my opinion it's not anyway, because I think the netcode is ridiculous, but that's another story entirely. So anyway, that happened yesterday.
I got the drip going. 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 It's like a faucet that's dripping. You can't make it stop. So what do you want me to do? Have a mute button that every second I'm tapping the mute button just in case I'm gonna have to clear? Like, this is what I mean. These dumb kids. This is what it is. It's dumb kids.